and then that way you guys can get busy. This one says to solve, and you're okay, sorry. It says to solve a quadratic equation needing simplification, but your directions, whenever you see it on your knowledge checks, it just says solve. So solve for u, and your equation is 2u squared minus 2u plus 40 is equal to u plus 4 squared. Okay, so the first thing, those are u's. I know they kind of look like a's. It doesn't really matter what variable you put right there, just as long as you're putting the same one. The way that Alex explains it, I didn't really like the way that Alex explains it. And so when I showed you guys how to do these in class, I did it a little bit differently than the way that Alex did. So my first step on here, I would take this binomial right there, the u plus 4, and it's squared, and I'm going to come off to the side and I'm going to figure out what that is. So this means u plus 4 times u plus 4, okay, and you're supposed to FOIL that. So first times first is u squared, and then your outsides plus 4u, your insides plus 4u, and your last 4 times 4 is 16. So taking those like terms in the middle, that's u squared plus 8u plus 16. So that's what the right-hand side is equal to. So this is equal to u squared plus 8u plus 16, okay? Now, your left-hand side, I haven't done anything with. That's still 2u squared minus 2u plus 40. And you'll notice that this is a quadratic equation because it has a power of 2. So when we have those quadratic equations, you were supposed to make it equal to 0. Now, the Alex explanation, again, it showed you a little differently, but I like it like this better. So my next step is I've got to get a 0 right here. So in order to get that 0 right here, I'm going to have to move all those guys over. So I'm going to have to subtract u squared. I'm going to have to subtract 8u. And I'm going to have to subtract 16. And that'll give me my 0 on the right-hand side. And so my left-hand side, that's just a combining like terms. So 2u squared minus 1u squared is u squared. A negative 2u and a negative 8u is a negative 10u. And a positive 40 and a negative 16 is going to be a positive 24. 24. Okay? So now I have a quadratic equation, and I need to look at this, and I need to think factor. So I'm going to factor it. And there's a couple ways you could factor it. I think pretty much everybody in this class, except for 2 of you, are using this method that I showed y'all for factoring. So that's what I'll do because the majority of you are doing that. Look at the sign in the back. Michael, what does that sign in the back tell you? What's one thing it tells you? The signs have to be the same, okay? So either the signs are both positive or the signs are both negative. Okay, so how do I know what the signs should be on this problem? I can look at the middle. So what is the middle? Is it a positive or a negative? That's right, it's a negative. So that tells me that my 2 signs that I'm looking for are going to both be negative. So, Michael, whenever I get done, I know that I'm going to have negatives right there, okay? Okay, so now I have to start breaking down. So I'm going to break down that u squared, and that's easy because it's just u times u. And now I have to break down that 24. So how do I break down the 24? Well, it's either 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, or 4 times 6. Okay, so this is one thing I don't know if you are connecting the dots on, so I want to make sure you are. This sign right here tells me 2 things. It tells me that the signs have to be the same, And it also tells me that whenever I get my insides and my outsides, they have to add to make a 10. So this one's pretty easy because since it's just a plain U on the front, I'm just looking for the numbers that add to make a 10. So it has to be the 4 and the 6 because that's the only way to get that 10. Okay, so now my next step that I found the factors, all I have to do is take each factor. This is what my equation looks like right now, okay? I take each factor and I say, well, u minus 4 is 0 or u minus 6 is 0, and then I solve. So I'm going to add 4. And so my first answer is u is 4. Or I'm going to add 6. And so my second answer is u is 6. So those are my two solutions, okay? Again, like I said, the reason why I wanted to go over this one